Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Papa has been trying to emphasize or giving thrust to the effective way of chanting Ram Nam, which is the mainstay of our sadhana. We should be very, very clear about it. The rest of the things are, we won't say secondary, but first leader is Nama. So what should be the right mental attitude while chanting and not chanting? If we don't develop that attitude, the real benefit we cannot have. We all know from our own experience. For decades together we have been chanting it during some certain hours. But what is expected ultimately of us, that means to get ourselves stabilized in God remembrance, God dimension, that is yet to come for all of us. So now Papa is showing so many ways, facilitating so many methodologies before us. Whichever is suitable for us, we have to choose. Through Swami Rama's teaching, he made us aware that a part of the mind should always keep the mantra. So that even if we are apparently involved in various activities, whenever there is a need, that means whenever we go off the line, the subtle consciousness of the Nama will definitely pull us up and put us on the track. Let us see today what Godavarikar Maharaj says. How long should we repeat Nama? We should do this as long as our breath continues or we are conscious of ourselves. So long as I am there, I must chant. Papa stopped chanting because the I was not there. Very clear in simple words. Just as we continue to breathe till the moment of death, so too we should repeat Nama till the moment of death. To put it more precisely, just as the body ceases to live when breathing stops, so too we must feel as if we are dead if Nama stops. The moment we forget Nama, we should know we are dead. Something on which you have to keep on thinking. It is not just to be heard. Maharaj has beautifully put it in simple languages. We must take Nama literally until life becomes extinct, or until the self or the individual life ceases to exist. The last stage is when the individual life feeling becomes dead, and what remains is only Nama. One can indeed never do enough or too much of it. It is commonly believed that there is nothing further to be done when one attains beatitude or ultimate liberation. However, if any duty remains even thereafter, it is only Namasmara. So that means when we keep chanting, this also has to be borne in mind. Whether I chant it vocally or not, so long as I feel I am there, so long as I feel that I am thinking, I am doing, I am seeing, I am observing, I am planning, I am enjoying, I am suffering, I am bearing, so long as this feeling is there, to get out of it, we need to bring in the God dimension, the power behind all these things. So Nama chanting. It need not necessarily be vocal, it can be silent, it can be mental. So this is very clear now. So long as there is a sense of individuality in us, we must somehow try to keep the chanting going on. But every now and then when the I arrogates, immediately I will be reminded of the power behind the so-called me. And the supremacy of me and mine will get reduced. Though it may not go immediately, it will get reduced. Through chanting God remembrance, God remembrance. The common man so completely identifies himself with the body that normally he is not even conscious that he has it. The common man so completely identifies himself with the body that normally he is not even conscious that he has it. I have a body, I am not conscious of it, no. Always. Conversely, when the sadhaka engaged in namasmarana becomes unaware that he is doing it, we can conclude that he has attained real solitude, oneness with the cosmic soul. That means Nama becomes, the other day, Swami Rama also said, ajapa japa. A japa without a japa. Ajapa japa is a japa without the usual japa. It gets ingrained in our system. It becomes a part of the system like any other expertise or know-how that we have now. We are not aware of it at that particular time. It comes, it helps us. It has become part of ourselves. This is a very important dimension. Please think over it. Just like anything that we have learned right from our childhood, it stays with us, and even without our knowing, it comes to our aid whenever we use it. Whenever we transact with the world, whenever we engage ourselves in various types of activities, whatever know-how or skill or expertise we have gained in the journey of our life, Not that we are conscious of it, it becomes a part of it, automatically it comes out. How it comes out, nobody can say. It becomes spontaneous. Think. Then only we can apply this same formula for Nama chanting.
Swamiji, but in this case, the Nama chanting, we have to remember that it is not that the individual is doing the chanting. Also,
You devise your own method. You can devise your own method and see whether it is effective or not. We have been advised 3-4 methods. One is that when the Nama chanting is going on, we keep on trying to bring subservience to that higher power. Even the chanting is being done only because he is there in the form of life force. Then we don't have to separate, He is there. So during our afterwards pause moment, we will try to move toward that life force, that awareness. By arresting dissimilar thoughts, so many methods are there, each one can adopt. And then when we chant Nama, how does the Nama chanting goes on now? How do these words come out now? How is it that I am hearing Nama chanting? Like that, there are so many methods by which we can go inward. Some device, there is no prescribed method because each individual's equipment is different. One rule, one methodology is not applicable to everybody. If it was applicable, all of us would have reached the highest stage by this time, For decades now we are doing, not 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 years. And we have been hearing all this. Were we able to? Not that we don't want to. Our equipment is not matured enough, is not fit enough to take to the journey. So we have to devise something which is suitable for our equipment. Who will know that? Only one that person will know. Here, dependent upon any external factor will not help us. Initially, to put us on this line, we need some guidance, that's all. This internal struggle will be there. It is purely an internal inward journey. Though Nama chanting seems to be an outward activity, it is purely an inward journey. The simple thing, we have been told, I am chanting the name of the Lord who is seated within. Papa says, yesterday we read that. That is enough for us to go within, to find out where He is. Who is that? Who is behind my chanting? If I know who is behind my chanting, I know He is behind everything, That is why this recollection, contemplation, meditation, Papa stresses, this is very important, very important, very important. So first he will say chant, then he will say consciously chant, then he will say you bring the attributes. You watch yourself, allow the witness consciousness to emerge, parade the thoughts, become aware of the thoughts. Which is suitable, only that person will know, So think about it, it's good. Such thoughts, this is what is expected. When we hear Mahatma's words, it touches and kindles so many things. That will throw us light as to how we should proceed further. The common man so completely identifies himself with the body that normally he is not even conscious that he has it. When you are talking, when you are writing, we are not conscious about the body, but the body is there, Whenever there is any damage, any any danger or anything that affects the body occurs, your attention is immediately drawn. Immediately drawn. That means it is there, but it is not there in the usual form. So Maharaj wants our Nama chanting should be such that it should be there even if we are not conscious of it. So that whenever there is a need, whenever there is an aberration, whenever there is a dilution, whenever there is unknowingly we are moving out of it, it will immediately pull us up. Hey, where are you going? What are you thinking? The common man so completely identifies himself with the body that normally he is not even conscious that he has it. Conversely, when the sadhaka engaged in namasmarana becomes unaware that he is doing it, we can conclude that he has attained that solitude or oneness with the cosmic soul. A man suffering from insomnia takes enough of the prescribed sedative to induce sleep. Similarly, we must take Nama until we achieve enduring inward contentment. Enduring inward contentment. Nay, Nama being free from all upadhis, we will not be able to realize its true bliss unless we become likewise. Now, should we keep a record of our japa? That is to say, should we note the number of times we have repeated Nama? Yes, this is necessary if you have resolved to do it up to a specific minimum number every day, or to do a certain total number. Somebody gets God prompts them to have a sankalpa. So many lakhs, so many crores within a particular time. As we have shared in this, some people do come. One youngster came one day and he said he has got this sankalpa, so he will not be attending any program. Is it all right? I said, perfectly all right. He will be inside the room. So we asked, what about your food? That I will go and take. So at that time, what will you do? I will try to maintain the same link as much as possible. And for 7 days he was inside the room. Only for the meal he was going out. And at the end of the day, he said he could reach the target. So these are some of the disciplines we try and see, whether the mind behaves, whether the mind cooperates. For him, probably the prompting came, either God wanted him to undergo the training, or to give a boost to already prepared mind. He was working professionally. So that's what he says. If we have resolved to do it up to a specific minimum number every day, or to do a certain total number, at that time our intellect should not be allowed to come and say, whether we chant it or not, he is there, so don't worry about the number. No. Here also, there will be confusion in the mind. Papa was not at all for counting. Mataji is for counting. So the question comes, so especially nowadays when the initiation is given, this is what is shared with the devotees. In order that it becomes a part of our life, we need to have some target, some number in our mind. I will do 2 malas or 5 malas or 10 malas a day. Because then, just like we brush the teeth, we go to the toilet, we take the bath, we take the food, we dress ourselves, this should also become a part of it. For that, some regularity is necessary, and for regularity, some figure is necessary. Even if it is 1 mala, then we can increase it, but this 1 mala should not be compromised. Or whatever sankalpa he makes at the time of initiation. So when they are asked to sit before Papa's photo, wherever, And then when they take the initiation, feeling that they are taking the mantra directly from him, they make a resolve before Papa that I will do so much of Mala every day. When it becomes a part of it, then probably not necessary. But here we are insisting because Mataji also fixed the target of 15,500 crore. There is a figure. And so we do one thing, we mentally make a sankalpa. For Mataji's quota, I will do this much. Rest of the things we need not make a call. While doing this, however, one should not feel, now that I have completed the number proposed for the day, I have nothing to do with the Nama until tomorrow. This risk is there, correct? I have done 10 malas, finished. That is my quota today. Now, unknowingly it comes in our mind. Just like when we go to a temple, we superimpose the God concept on a particular idol, and the moment we come out of the temple, it gets disconnected, no? So similarly, when we take to a particular specified number every day, this risk is there, so we should be very careful. Maharaj is warning us. That is for the sake of the sankalpa only, otherwise we are to do Nama throughout our waking state, whenever it is possible. Okay. Let us be practical. Whenever it is practical, whenever it is possible for us during the day, we will take up. Plus one quota. So to ensure that there is regularity in it. Otherwise one day we may spend about half an hour, another day we may spend about 5 minutes, on another day we may not spend any time at all. And when we go to ashram we may spend for 3-4 hours. Like that, it is irregular. It doesn't lead an impact. So should we keep a record of our japa? That is to say, should we note that the number of times you have repeated Nama? Yes, this is necessary if we have resolved to do it up to a specific minimum number every day, or to do a certain total number. To accustom oneself to the regular practice of japa, as also to ensure that not a day passes without a certain minimum japa, it is advisable to keep a daily note. While doing this, however, one should not feel that now that I have completed the number, I have nothing to do with the Nama until tomorrow. After the daily quota is done, during the rest of the time too, we should repeat the name as far as possible. For Akhanda, japa should be the ultimate aim. Why are we unable to achieve concentration in Namasmarana, although we earnestly desire and strive for it? What should we do to achieve this concentration? It is true that hordes of vagrant, irrelevant thoughts throng and distract the mind during meditation. The simple remedy is not to pursue or multiply them, but not to indulge in daydreams. Thoughts will go away as they come if we ignore them. Indeed, Namasmarana will itself lead to concentration. Real concentration will come only at an advanced stage. The mind is by its very nature fickle, restless, fugitive. It can be steadied only by tethering it to something. So we should keep it engaged in Nama. Practicing listening to Nama mentally as we chant will greatly help achieve concentration. Persistence in repeating Nama will ultimately lead to concentration of the mind. So these are some of the clues Maharaj is giving, whether the concentration of the mind is there. Whenever I apply my mind on anything else, whether it has been able to bring out concentration, that means perfection in everything, whole-souled involvement in everything, consciously doing everything. I have to watch. So when I chant Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, if I consciously chant, I am slowly training my mind. During the chanting, the mind does not go anywhere else. Even if it is for a short time. This concentration is necessary, Everyone knows that the mind readily concentrates on what it likes or is interested in. We have an inborn affinity for worldly matters and sensual pleasures, and so get easily absorbed in them. If then we cultivate affection for God, why should we not be able to get engrossed in Him and His Nama? So let us cultivate a keen longing for God and Nama. The more we hear all these things, what comes to our mind, whether it is right or wrong, Papa will correct it later. Going back to Papa's life, when he started chanting Ram, 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 with a proper background as to what Ram stands for, God blessed him with that clarity. With the clarity, he started chanting. And then, in the short time, it had its grip on him. That is why he could chant 22 hours. If the mind was going out, he will not be able to chant. He says the whole room, will reverberate. So we now slowly try to understand that it was not that chanting alone he started. Chanting with the right background. He was chanting the name of one who is inside, who is making him to chant. So he started gaining that interest, sweetness. And it never left him. And that is why, even though a friend came forward to relieve all his problems, normally we would have definitely fallen again. But his mind was very steady. Okay, liabilities have been cleared. The unit has been expanded. More number of people, more activities are there. But Papa was least interested. Though for all apparent purposes he was attending it sincerely, he was not interested. He knew that today this problem is solved, another problem will crop up. So he wants eternal happiness. And that he knew can come only by constantly remembering Him, for which he was repeating God's name. So this clarity had helped him to hold on to the name. And he said, every now and then we have read in Quest of God, in order to keep it aflame, he was reading the books also. Satsang was also there. Because every day he was dealing with men and matters also. It was not that he was satsang exclusively during his waking hours. No. So when we transact with the world outside, some impact will be there. God will put us to various tests. So we have to insulate ourselves. Otherwise we'll be carried away. So we can surmise that what is needed is, during the time when we don't chant, at least in a day, we must try to go within and try to identify that power, try to become aware of that power, who makes us to feel I am, who makes us to chant. So that the clarity is there. No, we are not simply chanting, we are chanting the name of one who is my base, who is my substratum. But for him I cannot exist. I am existing only because of him. If he is not there, I am not there. All those things we should keep on bringing. And that power's name I am chanting. So he says cultivate. During the sannyas centenary now, which is to begin on the 27th December this year. Prior to that, we will have 3 days Ram Nam, Akhand Ram. So far, for a very important occasion, we used to have gatherings, and then we will have Ram Nam here. There will be groups doing Ram Nam. So this time when we involve ourselves, even if it's for 2 hours, one group, we will try this much. Whatever we have done so far has enabled us to take us to this stage. And when we engage ourselves in Ram Nam, even if we are not in a position to bring all these dimensions, at least, suppose there is 2 hours, at least 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, we can try to bring this dimension. Or when somebody is leading and when we are following or hearing, we can engage ourselves in this inward journey or inner journey. So that it doesn't become, it doesn't become an outward activity. Whatever we have heard now for the past so many weeks on Nama, we will try to actualize it. It will not be a superficial chanting. He is trying to make it more and more clearer and clearer to us. So that now the chanting should enable us to take us to him, or the chanting should enable us to unlock the doors within, so that we feel a glimpse of his presence first, and then to get stabilized in it. Let us be very clear about it. We are chanting the name to become aware of his presence, a glimpse of his presence at least. And then slowly we try to get stabilized in it. So during our chanting, if we are unable to have this experience, we pray from the bottom of the heart. Please bless us. You are making me to chant. Why don't you make me aware of your presence? You are there. Then only I can be here. So when you are there and when you are motivating me to remember you through the chanting, why are you not making me aware of your presence? Inside the room you are giving some instruction. But why don't you allow me to open the room and have a glimpse of you? Like that, we can devise in various ways and then pray to Him. Surely one day He will hear our praying. Call on the Lord. Yes, there's a beautiful article by Papa. Yeah. Any chanting done with faith will have its own effect, no doubt about it. When Pujya Swamiji was sick, one day Pinakin Bhai went and asked him, all are engaged in chanting for your speedy recovery, but why it is not becoming a reality? And Swamiji smiling, he said, it is not coming from the heart. It's an activity. So whenever we do, we would strongly request everybody that whenever we do it for a purpose, it will not be announced. It should come from the bottom of the heart and do it silently. Then it will have its telling effect. Because when you announce it, it is imposed by somebody, and you cannot keep yourself away, especially in an ashram or in a group. So you have to join. It is an imposed one, unknowingly. So you join, that's all. You have a sentimental satisfaction, you have joined. But if the real benefit has to come, that means linking of the sense of individuality to the cosmic soul, it should come from within, no? Better without any publicity. Each one must try to relate. Otherwise we have seen that, no? We do that, but we will say we will dedicate today's room. We don't mean anything actually, to be blunt. Nobody throughout the chanting doesn't bring them into the picture. Nobody brings the Ishtadevata or the Guru pouring his hand or putting his hand on the head of that particular person and then praying for his recovery. And we are offering this chanting to the holy feet of the Master or the Ishtadevata and praying to him to bless him with speedy recovery. These processes should go on, Then only it comes from the bottom of the heart. Though congregational prayer has got its own effect, but in our case we can see, many of you seniors might remember that sometime in 63 or 64, when Dr. Rajendra Prasad, our first president, retired, and Dr. Radhakrishnan became the president of India, and then Dr. Rajendra Prasad was sick. So through AAR, Dr. Radhakrishnan appealed to the entire countrymen to pray whenever they go to the temple or church or mosque. From the bottom of their heart, they should pray for the recovery of this great soul, Rajan Babu. And of course, the way in which Dr. Radhakrishnan appealed, it was so touching, very touching. On those days, there was only radio. So when they said there's an important announcement by the president, we all heard. We don't have any radio, so we had to go to a place where there was a radio. because it was an important announcement and we heard. And that means, it was not for publicity. It touched the heart of everybody because the person who says from the bottom of the heart, number one. Number two, he said it has got the power. He was quoting some words. And finally he wanted, and the truth is, he recovered. Rajan Babu recovered. Later on he passed away, not because of that. So it has got its own faith. It depends upon 2-3 things. When we say, today we will dedicate, whether we mean it. When we write, when somebody passes away, he was called by Papa. These are all words, Do we mean? He has joined Papa, he used to say. So unless we have some idea about Papa, it will be only a hollow word. So everywhere this whole-souled involvement should be there. That is important. That is why Gandhiji was blunt in telling that. Prayer without words, not words without a heart. A heart without words, not a word without heart. What should be the prayer? He has defined. We should apply our mind on that. When Papa was passing through such a terrific, stressful period, when it came from the bottom of the heart, it was heard. Intuitively he came to know that it was the voice coming from the void, Ram. We don't just read In Quest of God now. Every word has got its own meaning. What am I doing under the banner of chanting, under the banner of praying? Is it coming from the bottom of the heart? What do we mean by bottom of the heart? Nobody can make us aware. Nobody can make us to pray from the bottom of the heart. It has to be done by ourselves only. We have to devise our own method only. We cannot look up to anybody to give us some idea as to how the prayer should be done. These are all some words they have given. So every day we will try to read some portion from Godavarikar Maharaj on Nama, 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 Nama. Because that is the mainstay, that is the main support for us for inward journey, for making us aware of His presence, and then later on to get a glimpse of His presence, and later on to get stabilized in His presence, and ultimately to become one with Him. Let us be very clear about it. Papa is facilitating all these for all of us. Ours is to take the maximum advantage of it. Of course, for that also we need His grace. So prayer also should go along with it. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai जय जय राम हरि ओम।